Beezus and Ramona. Beezus and Ramona is a children's novel written by Beverly Cleary. It's the first book in the Ramona Quimby series. The story centers around Ramona Quimby, a young girl growing up in Portland, Oregon, and her older sister, Beezus. Chapter 1. Beezus and her little sister. Beatrice Beezus Quimby wishes that Ramona, her noisy, messy 4-year-old little sister, wasn't such a pest. Other 9-year-old girls who had little sisters didn't wipe paint on the neighbor's cat like hers did. Beezus would also prefer to have a sister who didn't ride her tricycle through the living room while playing the harmonica. One September day, Ramona asks Beezus to read her favorite book, Scoopy, which is about an unhappy steam shovel who doesn't want to be a steam shovel anymore. Beezus says no, so Ramona pedals around the room, knocking into things until Beezus reluctantly agrees. The following week, Beezus takes Ramona to the library, in the hopes of finding another book to read to her. Ramona insists on wearing her paper rabbit ears and pretending to be the Easter Bunny, which embarrasses Beezus. Along the way, they saw their neighbor, Mrs. Wisser, coming toward them with a friend. They think Ramona is adorable until she shows them the scab on her knee. Beezus is embarrassed by this and hurries Ramona along. At the library, Ramona wishes to have a library card but can't because she can't write. Later, she picks out a new book that is, unfortunately, about steam shovels. Back at home, Beezus offers to help Ramona with her signature so she doesn't have to read yet another steam shovel book. Ramona agrees, but after a disagreement regarding spelling, Beezus leaves the room. When it's time to return the books 2 weeks later, Beezus discovers that Ramona has signed her name on every page of the library book in purple crayon. Beezus tells her mother what she did. Ramona explained that she wanted to keep the book, so she wrote her name in it. Mother scolds Ramona and gives Beezus some money to pay for the damaged book. Beezus is worried that Ramona will now write in future library books that she wants to keep. Later at the library, the librarian explains that because the book was on Beezuz's card, it's hers, not Ramona's, and this upsets Ramona. Chapter 2. Beezus and her imagination. It's another sunny day and Ramona and Beezus have plans at the park. Ramona is excited to play and Beezus is going to an art class at the recreation center. Ramona brings along her imaginary lizard, Ralph, and decides that she wants to go to art class too. Beezus tells her she's too little. Beezus leaves Ramona to play in at the sandbox and hurries to class. She's worried because she knows she's not creative like Ramona. Her teacher, Miss Robbins, who wears silver, dangly earrings, always praises the creative students. In the middle of art class, Ramona shows up with her Ralph and wants to join the class. The teacher, delighted by Ramona's imagination, agrees. Ramona takes another boy's grape-flavored sucker, which causes a fight between the two. They spill paint everywhere and Beezus intervenes. After the mess has been cleaned up, Beezus paints a whimsical dragon after failing to paint a winged horse. And when her teacher proudly tacks it to the wall for the parents to see, she is overjoyed. Chapter 3. Ramona and Ribsy. Beezus enjoys playing checkers with her good friend Henry Huggins. Ramona keeps disturbing their game because they won't play tiddlywinks with her. After purposely crashing her tricycle into the table, Mother sends Ramona to her room. After finishing their game, Henry notices that his dog is missing. Ramona tells them that she put Ribsy in the bathroom and he accidentally locked himself in and she can't get in. After a series of trial and error, Ribsy is finally reunited with Henry. Ramona admits that she put Ribsy in a timeout because he tried to eat her cookie. Henry has had enough of Ramona for one day and he and Ribsy go home. Ramona wants to play tiddlywinks with her sister now that Henry is gone. This makes Beezus mad and they argue. Beezus looks at her pesky, dirty little sister and feels hatred toward her. She immediately feels guilty because she thinks sisters are always kind and love each other. Chapter 4. Ramona and the Apples. One day after school, Mrs. Quimby leaves for an errand and puts Beezus in charge of Ramona. Ramona takes a marshmallow and powders her nose with it, making it sticky. After Beezus finishes her snack, she calls to Ramona to read to her. When Ramona doesn't answer, she begins to panic. After searching the entire house, she gets the idea to check the basement, despite the scary furnace being down there. To her great relief, she finds Ramona sitting in the corner next to a crate of apples that had Ramona-sized bites taken out of them. Confused, Beezus asked why she was taking only a bite out of each apple. Ramona answered that the first bite of an apple tastes best. Sensing her sister's frustration, Ramona tries to share the apples, which angers Beezus because it was insincere. Ramona then announces that she wants to have quiet time, something she learned in nursery school. Aunt Beatrice calls and Beezus tells her what happened. Being a schoolteacher, she suggests ignoring Ramona's bad behavior. She also suggests making apple sauce so as not to waste the apples. Mother soon comes home. Beezus tells her the plan. Mom agrees and spends the remainder of the afternoon making apple sauce. When Mr. Quimby comes home, he joins in on the plan. Ramona decides to be good and Beezus reads her a story. Chapter 5. A party at the Quimbys. On a cold and rainy Saturday, Ramona is riding her tricycle through the kitchen and blowing on a harmonica. She's singing about having a party and making a lot of noise. Beezus and her mother, who are doing chores, think she's joking until the doorbell rings and all 15 kids from the neighborhood start showing up. Beezus has to take each of their raincoats and rain boots and put them in the bathroom to dry. In an attempt to distract the kids, Beezus organizes an indoor parade. She gathers yardsticks, rulers, noisemakers and father's handkerchiefs to give to the children. Ramona is sulking because the party isn't going as she planned. Mrs. Quimby is happy for an excuse to get rid of all that applesauce, so she gives that and some fig Newtons to the children for a snack. Ramona throws a tantrum because her guests won't listen to her and the party quickly turns chaotic. But Beezus saves the day with her quick thinking. Chapter 6. Beezus' birthday. It's Beezus' 10th birthday and she's given special attention, gifts and the whole class had sung happy birthday to her. When Beezus comes home from school, Mother asks her to watch Ramona so she can make her birthday cake. She's behind schedule because Ramona destroyed the first one by putting an entire carton of eggs in the mixer and she had to go back to the store. While Mrs. Quimby bakes the second cake, Beezus reads Hansel and Gretel to Ramona to keep her busy. A strange smell fills the air and Beezus discovers that Ramona put her doll, Chevrolet, in the oven, imitating the fairy tale, and the rubber doll melted into the cake. Mother is shocked at Ramona's behavior and sends her to her room. It's too late to bake another cake, so she calls her sister to pick up a store-bought cake. Aunt Beatrice shows up and gives Beezus many wonderful gifts. She even has a small gift for Ramona so she doesn't feel left out. Aunt Beatrice understands Ramona's behavior because she's the youngest, just like her. Beezus is celebrated by the family at the table and eats her favorite dinner. Ramona keeps acting out, preventing Beezus from telling everyone about school. She is later sent to her room. Her behavior upsets Beezus and she admits to hating Ramona for constantly spoiling things. Her mom and aunt comfort her, understanding completely. They tell her funny childhood stories about messy rooms, ruined dolls, gold-stamped photo albums and a spanking. This comforts Beezus and wishes to have Ramona return so she can blow out the candles. She closes her eyes and makes a wish that all her birthdays are as wonderful as this one. Ramona sings happy birthday off-key and Beezus smiles. The end.